Welcome back, everyone, to episode 21 of our Gold Mining from Scratch series here on a massive Yukon Valley 16X map. In today's episode, we're going to be heading back into the Hillside Cut to continue mining and racing the clock to mine as much gold before winter finally arrives. Last episode was another huge step forward for our mining operation as we continued working around the clock at the Hillside Cut. Our wash plant, Slucifer, was running almost non-stop as we hauled in massive amounts of pay dirt and completed multiple gold cleanouts throughout the day. By the end of the episode, we had officially produced and sold 249 gold bars, bringing in an incredible $8,300,000 payday. By far the biggest gold sale we've ever had here in Yukon Valley. We also made some major changes down inside the Hillside Cut. We completely mined out the third section of the pit, removed our old haul roads, and built an entirely new truck route that now has our fleet entering and exiting from the south side of the cut. Those changes have allowed us to start mining the remaining paid dirt around the old access roads, while keeping our rock trucks running much more efficiently. Now, as we begin today's episode, winter is just around the corner. Temperatures are beginning to drop here in the Yukon, and I have a good feeling this will officially be our final mining day of the season. Once the snow starts falling and the ground freezes solid, our entire operation will be forced to shut down until next spring. That means every bucket of pay dirt we can move today and every ounce of gold we can recover before winter arrives is going to count. We've had an incredible first season building this gold mine from scratch, and today we'll be pushing our equipment to the limit one last time before Mother Nature finally brings our mining season to an end. To kick things off today, we're starting the morning inside our portable mining office as we check in on the latest weather forecast, and unfortunately, it isn't looking very promising. According to the forecast, a major snowstorm is expected to roll into the Yukon early tomorrow morning at around 5 a.m., and once that storm arrives, our first mining season will officially come to an end. Temperatures are expected to plummet well below freezing. The ground will begin freezing solid, and our wash plant won't be able to continue operating. That means every single minute between now and sunrise tomorrow morning is incredibly valuable, and we're going to spend every second we can pulling as much gold out of the ground as possible before Mother Nature finally forces us to shut everything down for the winter. Before we head back over to the Hillside Cut, I'd like to make one quick stop at our gold cleaning rooms and gold smelters. Over the past several days, these productions have been working around the clock processing all of the gold concentrate we've recovered from Slucifer. The cleaning rooms have been turning that concentrate into gold jars, and we've been delivering those jars over to our smelters where they're being melted down into gold bars. Before we start another long shift, I'll make sure every gold jar that's finished processing gets delivered to the smelters so they can continue producing gold bars right up until the very last minute before we shut everything down for the winter. Every additional gold bar we can produce before the storm arrives is going to add even more money to our final payday of year one. Once that's taken care of, we'll hop onto our Can-Am Outlander 1000 and make our way back over to Slucifer. We'll fire up the wash plant, the hopper feeder system, and our radial stacker conveyor for what will more than likely be the final time this season. Once the plant is fully operational again, we'll head down into the Hillside Cut and get our fleet of 4 Volvo A60H rock trucks fired back up. Last episode, we completely redesigned all of our auto drive routes, and now our trucks enter and exit the cut from the south side, allowing us to begin mining the old haul roads that we couldn't reach before. Once all 4 trucks are moving again, I'll climb into our Volvo EC950 excavator and get back to digging pay dirt so we can keep Slucifer supplied with as much material as possible throughout the day and into the night. Last episode also marked a huge milestone for our mining operation. We sold off 249 gold bars and brought in an incredible $8.3 million payday, pushing our bank account to well over $9 million. It's honestly incredible to look back at how far we've come over the course of our very first mining season. We started this series with nothing more than a small operation over at the Lone Wolf Creek Cut, and since then we've expanded into the much larger Hillside Cut, upgraded nearly every piece of equipment on the mine, and slowly transformed this operation into a highly efficient gold-producing machine. Every improvement we've made throughout year one has paid off, and we've now reached the point where we're producing more gold than I ever imagined we would during our first season here in the Yukon. And the best part is, we're only just getting started. Looking ahead to year two, I already have some massive expansion plans in mind. Rather than simply continuing to grow the Hillside Cut, I'd like to begin prospecting for an entirely new section of ground and open what will become our biggest mining cut yet. It'll need to be significantly larger than the Hillside Cut to accommodate the scale of operation I have planned. And thanks to the millions of dollars we've earned throughout this season, we should finally have the capital needed to make that dream a reality. But before we start thinking about next season, we still have one final job to finish here at the Hillside Cut. Thanks to the new haul roads we built in the last episode, we're finally able to excavate all of the paid dirt that was left behind underneath our old access roads. This is the final section of ground remaining in the center of the pit, and even if winter stops us before we completely finish it, we'll return here as soon as everything thaws out next spring, so we can immediately continue mining while we begin planning our next expansion. For today, though, there's only one goal: keep mining until the snow forces us to stop. Last episode, we completed our very first overnight shift, and it proved to be a huge success. So tonight we're going to do it all over again. We'll keep the excavator digging, the rock trucks hauling, and Slucifer washing pay dirt all night long right up until the moment that first snowfall arrives. Then, once the storm finally shuts us down, we'll park every machine back at the mining camp, collect every last gold bar we've managed to produce, and make one final trip into town for the last gold sale of year one. We've got a lot of work to do, a snowstorm closing in, and only one night left to mine. Let's fire up the engines and get to work. If you're enjoying the Yukon Valley 16X gold mining series so far, make sure to like, drop a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming up next. At this point, we've just about completely mined out the north section of the old access road, and we're making some great progress through what's left of the Hillside Cut. Once we finish removing the last of the pay dirt from this section, it'll be time to reposition our Volvo EC950 excavator and begin working our way down the east side of the cut where the remainder of the old haul road used to be. This is all ground that we couldn't reach earlier in the season while our rock trucks were still driving through the middle of the cut. So it's nice to finally be able to recover all of the gold that was left behind underneath those old roads. Before we move the excavator any farther though, I'll need to make a few adjustments to our hauling operation. As I continue working farther away from our current loading area, the rock trucks have to drive farther and farther before they can get underneath the excavator, which starts creating unnecessary downtime. To keep everything running as efficiently as possible, I'm going to create a brand new auto drive loading trigger a little farther back inside the cut. Once that's finished, I'll quickly hop into each one of our 4 Volvo A60H rock trucks and update them so they're all using the new loading location. That should keep the trucks cycling smoothly and allow the excavator to spend more time digging pay dirt instead of waiting for trucks to arrive. After all 4 trucks have been switched over to the new loading area, we'll climb back into the Volvo EC950 and continue feeding paid dirt into Slucifer as we work our way deeper into the Hillside Cut. Now that we're getting toward the end of year 1, the days are becoming noticeably shorter here in the Yukon. The sun is already beginning to disappear behind the mountains, which means we've got another long night shift ahead of us. That worked out really well in the last episode, So tonight we'll do exactly the same thing. We'll fire up all of our work lights, keep the excavator digging, keep the rock trucks hauling, and continue mining right through the night. With that snowstorm expected to arrive before sunrise, every truckload of pay dirt we can wash tonight is another opportunity to recover just a little more gold before winter finally shuts our operation down for the season. Well, I've actually made another round of changes to our auto drive routes, and I think this latest layout is going to work much better. Now that we've almost completely mined out the north side of the Hillside Cut, we've opened up a lot more room for our rock trucks to maneuver around inside the pit. I've extended the haul routes, so the trucks can now use that newly cleared area to pull up alongside the east face of the cut, where I'll be loading them with the excavator. Once they're full, they'll swing around through the space we just mined out on the north side before heading back up the exit ramp and over to Slucifer. Every time we mine another section of this cut, it seems like the entire operation evolves right along with it. It's definitely taken a bit of trial and error throughout the season, but I'd say we've finally reached a point where our hauling system is working exactly the way I envisioned when we first started expanding the Hillside Cut. With this new loading area now in place, I should be able to clean up the last few scoops of pay dirt from the north section before repositioning the Volvo EC950 excavator and continuing our way down the east side of the cut. While I was making those changes, I also noticed something else that needs our attention. A few of our Volvo A60H rock trucks are starting to get pretty low on fuel after running almost non-stop over the past several episodes. The last thing I want is to have one of these trucks run out of diesel right in the middle of the haul route, especially with winter closing in and every minute of mining counting toward our final gold production for the season. So before we dive back into the pit, I'll bring each truck that's getting low over to the diesel tank at our mining camp and top them off one by one. It shouldn't take long, and it'll give us the peace of mind that all 4 trucks are fueled up and ready to keep hauling through the rest of the night. Once that's done, we'll head straight back into the Hillside Cut, fire everything back up, and continue pulling as much pay dirt out of the ground as we possibly can before the snowstorm finally rolls into the Yukon and brings our first mining season to an end. Well, it looks like we've officially filled the sluice boxes on Slucifer for the first time today, which means it's time for another gold cleanout. Judging by the amount of concentrate we've recovered, this has been another very productive stretch of mining because we just pulled 18 more buckets of gold concentrate out of the wash plant. That's another huge step toward building up one final stockpile of gold before winter finally shuts us down. Before I head over to the gold cleaning rooms, though, I'll get Slucifer sealed back up and fire the entire wash plant back in operation. Our hopper feeder, conveyors, and radial stacker are all still loaded with pay dirt, and we've already got a lineup of Volvo A60H rock trucks waiting to unload more material into the hopper. The last thing I want to do right now is leave the wash plant sitting idle, especially with the temperature dropping so quickly here in the Yukon. With the snowstorm expected to arrive before sunrise, every minute the plant isn't running is another minute we're not recovering gold. There's also another reason I'd rather keep everything operating continuously. The temperatures are falling rapidly now, and I really don't want to risk leaving the wash plant shut down long enough for the water inside the system to start freezing. If that happens, we'd be looking at a much bigger problem than just a short delay. So we'll keep everything running continuously right up until Mother Nature finally forces us to shut the operation down. Once the wash plant is back up and processing pay dirt again, we'll load all 18 buckets of gold concentrate into the truck and make our way back over to the mining camp. As soon as we arrive, we'll unload everything into the gold cleaning rooms so they can begin processing the concentrate immediately. My goal is to have every bucket of concentrate we've recovered today cleaned, turned into gold jars, and delivered over to the gold smelters before morning arrives. That way, when the snow finally rolls in and our first mining season comes to an end, we'll have every possible ounce of gold processed and ready for one final trip into town to close out year one with one last massive payday. Well, it looks like we've already managed to fill the sluice boxes on Slucifer for the second time today, which is another great sign that our mining operation has been running incredibly well. Before I shut the wash plant down for another clean out though, I'd like to make one quick stop back inside the Hillside Cut and make sure all 4 of our Volvo A60H rock trucks are completely loaded with pay dirt. That way, by the time I return from cleaning out the wash plant, every truck will already be lined up on the unloading ramp waiting to dump fresh material into the hopper feeder system, allowing us to get the plant back up and running almost immediately. Once I pull all of the gold concentrate out of Slucifer, I'll get everything sealed back up and restart the wash plant as quickly as possible. At this point, I'm trying to avoid shutting the plant down for any longer than absolutely necessary. The temperatures are continuing to drop here in the Yukon, and with freezing weather just around the corner, I don't want to risk any of the water inside the wash plant freezing up before the blizzard even arrives. If that happened, our year 1 mining season would come to an end a lot sooner than I planned, and I'd really like to squeeze every last ounce of gold out of this cut before Mother Nature finally forces us to shut everything down. Speaking of the weather, we're now only about 8 hours away from when the forecast says that snowstorm is expected to hit the Yukon. That means we're officially in the final stretch of our first mining season, and from this point forward, it's all about maximizing production. Every truckload of paid dirt we haul, every bucket of concentrate we recover, and every gold bar we produce between now and sunrise is going to increase the size of our final payday before winter arrives. On top of keeping the mining operation running, I also need to make sure our gold cleaning rooms and gold smelters stay working at full capacity. I want every bucket of concentrate we recover tonight to be processed into gold jars, melted down into gold bars, and ready to load onto the trailer first thing in the morning. Once the snow finally begins falling and the Hillside Cut shuts down for the winter, we'll make one final trip into town and sell off every gold bar we've managed to produce, bringing year 1 to a close with one last massive payday. We're now down to just a couple of hours before that snowstorm is expected to roll into the Yukon Valley. And I'd have to say it's starting to feel like a race against the clock. Every minute we can keep this operation running is another opportunity to recover a little more gold before year one officially comes to an end. Taking a quick look over at Lucifer, it looks like we've managed to fill the sluice boxes once again. I can see the pay dirt beginning to back up inside the wash plant, and the tailings have completely stopped flowing out the back, so it's definitely time for another cleanout. Before I shut the plant down though, I'm going to make one more trip down into the Hillside Cut and get all 4 of our Volvo A60H rock trucks completely loaded with pay dirt. That way, by the time I finish cleaning out the sluice boxes, every truck will already be lined up on the unloading ramp waiting to dump straight into the hopper feeder system. My goal is to have Lucifer shut down for as little time as possible so we can get right back to washing pay dirt. I'm not exactly sure how accurate the weather forecast is going to be, but I'm not willing to take any chances. As long as the weather holds, we're going to keep this entire mining operation running right up until the moment that first snowfall reaches the mine. Once the concentrate is removed from Lucifer, we'll haul it back over to our gold cleaning rooms. Unload everything so it can begin processing immediately. And while we're there, I'll also move any finished gold jars over to the gold smelters so they can continue producing gold bars. After that, we'll head straight back to the wash plant, fire Lucifer back up one more time, and see just how much more pay dirt we can process before the snow finally arrives. With only a few hours left in our first mining season, every bucket of concentrate we recover now could mean a few more gold bars and an even bigger final payday before winter shuts us down. Well, it looks like our local weatherman was actually right for once. Just as we finished hauling that last load of gold concentrate over to our gold cleaning rooms, the clock rolled over to about 5 a.m. and the snow finally started falling here in the Yukon Valley. In just a short amount of time, we've already picked up several inches of snow, and I think it's safe to say that our first mining season has officially come to an end. Even just taking a quick look around the mine, you can already see the conditions changing. Our tailings pond has completely frozen over, the ground is starting to freeze solid, and temperatures are continuing to drop. At this point, I think we'd be risking more damage than progress if we tried to keep the operation running. So rather than pushing our luck, we're going to call it here and begin shutting everything down for the winter. Before we completely shut the mine down, though, I'm going to let Lucifer continue running for just a little while longer. there's still a fair amount of paid dirt making its way through the wash plant, and I'd like to give it enough time to process every last bucket of material that's already inside the system. Once everything has worked its way through, we'll come back one final time, clean out the sluice boxes, and recover whatever gold concentrate is left before we officially shut the wash plant down for the season. While Slucifer finishes its final cleanout, I'll begin pulling our Volvo EC950 excavator and all 4 Volvo A60H rock trucks out of the Hillside Cut. We'll get everything parked neatly back at the mining camp, ready to spend the winter waiting for warmer weather to return. After that, we'll head back over to the wash plant, collect the last few buckets of concentrate, and then shut down Slucifer, the hopper feeder, and every conveyor on the mine until spring. From there, we'll make one last trip over to the gold cleaning rooms and gold smelters. I'll make sure every bucket of concentrate is processed, every gold jar is melted down, and every last gold bar we produce this season is loaded onto our gooseneck trailer. Once everything is ready, it'll finally be time to make one last trip into town and close out year one with our final gold sale before winter fully settles into the Yukon. It's probably going to be a bit of an interesting drive too. I wasn't expecting the snow to pile up this quickly, and the roads are already becoming pretty slick. Thankfully, our Ford F-350 is equipped with 4-wheel drive, so hopefully we can make it safely into town and back one last time. If everything goes according to plan, we'll finish off our first mining season with one final massive payday and head into year 2 with more than enough money to begin expanding into an even bigger mining operation next spring. What an incredible first year it's been. We started this adventure with a small mining operation over at the Lone Wolf Creek Cut, and over the course of the season, we've slowly expanded into the much larger Hillside Cut, upgraded almost every piece of equipment on the mine, fine-tuned our auto drive routes, and transformed this operation into a highly efficient gold mine. Looking back at where we started compared to where we are now, it's honestly amazing to see just how far we've come in only one season. Unfortunately, with winter finally arriving here in the Yukon, it was time to shut everything down. We got all of our equipment safely parked back at the mining camp, collected every last bucket of gold concentrate from Slucifer, and processed every ounce of gold we could before the snow completely took over. I'd have to say I couldn't be happier with how this first season turned out. We learned a tremendous amount while building this mining operation from scratch, overcame plenty of challenges along the way, and every improvement we made helped us become more efficient and more profitable. Now, thanks to all of those long days in the excavator and all of the gold we've managed to recover, we're heading into year 2 with more money than we've ever had before and endless possibilities for what comes next. Looking ahead, once the snow begins to melt and spring finally returns to the Yukon, we'll fire this entire operation back up once again. We'll head straight back into the Hillside Cut to continue mining the remaining pay dirt, but that's only the beginning. I also have some very exciting plans to expand this mining operation even further by opening up an entirely new mining cut that's going to dwarf anything we've worked on so far. To finish off the season, we loaded up every remaining gold bar and made one final trip into town. That final gold sale brought in another $3,800,000. And with that incredible payday, our bank account has now grown to $13,200,000 as we officially close out year one. With $13.2 million sitting in the bank, we'll finally have the resources to take this series to the next level, and I honestly can't wait to get started. I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's been following along with this series and supporting it throughout our first mining season. Watching this operation grow from a small startup mine into what it's become has been an absolute blast, and I'm incredibly excited to see where year two takes us. But that's going to do it for our first mining season here in the Yukon Valley. As always, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and let me know down in the comments. What would you like to see us invest in first when we return for year two? Should we focus on opening our massive new mining cut, upgrade our equipment, or expand another part of the operation? Thanks again for an amazing first season, and I'll see you all in year two. Welcome back to episode 22 of our Gold Mining from Scratch series here on the massive Yukon Valley 16X map. Today is a very exciting day because we're officially kicking off year two of our gold mining operation here in the Yukon. It's been a long winter since we wrapped up season one. We left off at the very end of December after another successful year of mining. And as soon as the camera stopped rolling, I packed up my camper trailer, loaded up the truck, and headed south to get away from the freezing temperatures and heavy snowfall that takes over the Yukon every winter. Fast forward a few months, and we're finally back. It's now the beginning of April. The snow has mostly melted away, the ice has started breaking up, and the ground is finally beginning to thaw out. That means it's officially time to make our way back into the Yukon and get another gold mining season underway. We got another huge year planned for this operation, and I'm really looking forward to seeing just how much more we can accomplish before the end of the season. To get things started today, we're going to hop back into our Ford F-350, which is pulling our camper trailer, and make the drive over to the Hillside Cut, where our entire mining operation has been sitting untouched throughout the winter. Every single piece of equipment has been parked exactly where we left it at the end of last season. So after several months of freezing temperatures, heavy snowfall, and winter storms, I definitely want to make sure everything survived the winter without any major problems. Once we arrive back at the mining camp, we'll get the camper trailer backed into its usual spot, get everything unhitched, and start setting camp back up for another season. Since this is going to be our home until we manage to get the Hillside Cut fully mined out, I want to make sure everything is organized before we get too busy with mining. After that's taken care of, we'll head over to the Hillside Cut and see exactly where we left off last season. Looking back at everything we accomplished during year one, it's honestly pretty incredible how much progress we've made. When we first started mining this cut, it was packed full of pay dirt. After months of excavating, hauling, and processing material through the wash plant, we've removed an enormous amount of ground. At this point, there's really not a whole lot left compared to where we started. Most of the remaining pay dirt is concentrated around our old haul roads and a few smaller sections along the outside edges of the cut. Honestly, this is probably the perfect place to begin year two. Even though it's still early in the spring and a lot of untouched ground around the Yukon is going to remain frozen for a while longer, all of the pay dirt we'll be mining today has already been exposed since last season. The top layer should have thawed out enough over the past few weeks that we can jump straight back into excavating without having to spend days stripping frozen overburden first. Before we fire up any heavy equipment, though, we've got quite a few jobs to take care of around the mine site. Every machine that kept this operation running throughout season one has now been sitting idle for several months. So I want to spend a little bit of time making sure everything is serviced and ready for another busy year. Our fleet of 4 Volvo A60H articulated rock trucks worked incredibly hard last season, hauling countless loads of pay dirt up out of the pit and into our processing plant. They logged a lot of hours, so I want to go through each truck one by one, service them, and make sure they're all ready to handle another full season of hauling. We'll also spend some time checking over our Volvo EC950 excavator. Even though we only brought this machine into the fleet a few months before the end of Season 1, it completely transformed the speed of our mining operation. We moved an unbelievable amount of material with it before winter arrived, so I want to give a full inspection before we put it back to work. Once our mining fleet has been serviced, it'll be time to head over to what is easily the most important machine on the entire property, Slucifer. This wash plant has truly become the heart of our operation. Over the course of last season, we processed millions of liters of pay dirt through this plant, recovering millions of dollars worth of gold that allowed us to continually upgrade our mining fleet. Thanks to all of that hard work, we're now sitting at over $13 million in the bank, so I think it's only fair that we spend a little bit of money making sure the wash plant, hopper feeder, and conveyor system are all fully serviced and ready before we ask them to run non-stop for another season. After all the maintenance work is complete, we'll grab our Can-Am Outlander 1000, hook it up to our mobile pressure washing trailer, and make a full lap around the mine site, cleaning everything up. There's just something satisfying about starting a new season with clean equipment, and after sitting outside all winter, every machine could definitely use a good wash. We'll clean off all 4 of our rock trucks, the excavator, the dozer, and even Slucifer itself before the mud and pay dirt start flying again. Once everything is serviced, fueled up, and looking like new, it'll finally be time to get back into the mine. I'll jump into our Cat D7 dozer and begin cleaning up all of the loose piles of pay dirt that were left behind at the end of last season. Since we're getting closer and closer to completely mining out the Hillside Cut, I'd like to keep everything as clean and organized as possible. I'll push all of those leftover piles over toward the active mining phase, so we can make sure every last bucket of pay dirt eventually makes its way through the wash plant. With the cleanup finished, we'll park the dozer, climb into our massive Volvo EC950, and walk it across the road to the south side of the cut where we finished mining at the end of Season 1. We still have a wide strip of pay dirt left from what used to be one of our old access roads, and my goal for today is to remove as much of that section as possible. Once that's gone, we'll only have a handful of smaller sections remaining before we can officially shut down operations here at the Hillside Cut and begin the next major chapter of this series. After the excavator is in position, I'll head back to camp and start bringing our 4 Volvo A60H rock trucks back online. We'll top off any trucks that are running low on diesel, get each one configured on auto drive, and have them cycling between the excavator and our hopper feeder once again. Just like last season, they'll automatically enter the cut, wait to be loaded, haul the pay dirt up our massive haul road, dump into the feeder, and then return for another load. Finally, after several months of waiting, it'll be time for one of my favorite moments of the entire series. We'll make our way over to Slucifer, fire up the wash plant, start all of the conveyors, and watch those first buckets of pay dirt begin flowing through the system once again. Year 2 is officially here. We've got another massive season of gold mining ahead of us, and this is only the beginning. So let's get to work and see just how much gold we can pull out of the Hillside Cut today. If you're enjoying the Yukon Valley 16X gold mining series so far, make sure to like, drop a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming up next. Well, we've now spent a little bit of time down here in the Hillside Cut with our Cat D7 dozer, and I've managed to get all of those leftover piles of paid dirt pushed back over toward the active mining face where we'll be excavating from today. There wasn't a massive amount of material left behind, but I'd much rather spend a few minutes cleaning everything up now than have those small piles scattered all over the cut while our rock trucks are trying to work around them. Getting all of that pay dirt consolidated into one area should make our entire operation run a lot more efficiently. Our 4 Volvo A60H rock trucks will have a much easier time navigating through the pit without weaving around random piles of material. And it also means we won't be leaving any valuable pay dirt behind. Every single bucket we recover from this cut has the potential to contain gold. So I want to make sure every last bit eventually makes its way through Slucifer before we officially shut down operations here at the Hillside Cut. With the cleanup now complete, it's finally time to start bringing our mining fleet back to life. We'll get our Cat D7 parked back over at the mining camp, and then it's time to climb into one of my favorite machines on the entire mine, our massive Volvo EC950 excavator. This will actually be the first time we've fired this machine up since the end of Season 1, so it'll be nice to finally hear it running again after sitting idle throughout the winter. Once it's warmed up, we'll carefully walk the excavator back across the road and get it positioned right where we finished mining last season. We'll line it back up on what used to be our old access road, and from there we'll simply continue excavating exactly where we left off before winter arrived. There's still a nice wide strip of exposed paid dirt waiting for us, so we should be able to get straight back into production without wasting any time. After the excavator is in position, I'll make a few trips back over to the mining camp and begin bringing the rest of our fleet online. One by one, we'll get all 4 of our Volvo A60H rock trucks fired back up, topped off with fuel if needed, and configured on auto drive, so our hired workers can once again handle the hauling side of the operation. Before long, we'll have all 4 trucks cycling between the pit and the processing plant, just like they were at the end of last season. Once everything is in place and our hired workers are ready to go, I'll climb back into the Volvo EC950 and begin loading the first rock trucks of year 2 with fresh pay dirt. Seeing those first buckets hit the truck beds is always an exciting moment, because it means another mining season is officially underway. As soon as those first trucks begin making their way up the haul road toward our processing plant, I'll head over to the hopper feeder and radial stacker conveyor to get both of those systems fired back up. Once the conveyors are moving again, there'll only be one final step left before we can officially start recovering gold. We'll make our way over to Slucifer, fire up the wash plant for the very first time this season, and watch those first loads of paid dirt begin flowing through the system once again. After months of winter shutdowns, maintenance, and preparation, it'll finally be time to start processing material and see if year 2 can be even more successful than our first season here in the Yukon. This is the moment we've been working toward all episode. Let's get this mining operation back up and running. It honestly almost feels like we never even left. After spending the first part of today's episode getting everything serviced, cleaned up, and ready for another season, it's great to see our entire mining operation back online and running just as smoothly as it was at the end of year one. Every machine has settled right back into its job. It's hard to believe this mine sat completely idle for several months throughout the long Yukon winter. Out here in the Hillside Cut, our Volvo EC950 excavator is already making quick work of this exposed strip of pay dirt. As soon as one of our 4 Volvo A60H rock trucks pulls into position, we're loading it up as quickly as possible before sending on its way. One after another, the trucks are continuously cycling around the mine, climbing the massive haul road we built last season, and making their way over to the processing plant where they unload directly into our hopper feeder system. As soon as they're empty, they turn right around and head straight back down into the cut for another load, keeping a constant supply of pay dirt moving toward the wash plant. Everything seems to be working exactly the way we hoped it would. After sitting parked all winter, I wasn't quite sure if we'd run into any unexpected issues once we fired everything back up, but so far the maintenance we carried out at the start of today's episode definitely seems to have paid off. The rock trucks are moving efficiently. Auto drive is handling the haul routes without any problems, and our excavator hasn't missed a beat. Over at Slucifer, things are looking just as good. We've already managed to run a fair amount of paid dirt through the plant since bringing it back online. And from what I can tell from the sea of the excavator, the entire processing system is running flawlessly. The hopper feeder is keeping a steady flow of material moving onto the conveyors. The wash plant is processing everything without any interruptions, and before long, we'll hopefully have our first gold cleanout at year 2. As we continue mining our way through the south face of the Hillside Cut, we'll eventually need to make a few adjustments to our auto drive network. Right now, the trucks have a fairly short drive to reach the excavator, but as we continue pushing farther back into the cut, that loading area is going to keep moving. I'll probably spend a little bit of time later today updating the waiting points and haul routes, so the trucks stay parked as close to the excavator as possible. The less time they spend driving around empty, the more time they'll spend hauling pay dirt, which should help us keep this operation running as efficiently as we can. If everything continues running this smoothly, we should be able to move a tremendous amount of material before the end of the day. And before we know it, it'll finally be time for one of my favorite moments at the mine, temporarily shutting down Slucifer, so we can perform our first gold cleanout of year 2 and find out exactly how much gold we've recovered from the opening days of a new mining season. That's always one of the most exciting parts of mining, and hopefully it's the first of many successful cleanouts we'll have throughout the year. It looks like Slucifer has done its job once again. Judging by the fact that our 4 Volvo A60H rock trucks have come to a stop at the top of the haul road and the wash plant has automatically shut itself down. It looks like the sluice boxes are completely full. That means it's officially time for our first gold clean out of year 2. And I'm really looking forward to seeing just how much gold we've managed to recover from our first day back in the Yukon. To get started, I'll make my way back over to the mining camp and hop into our Can-Am Outlander 1000, which already has our utility trailer hooked up and ready to go. From there, we'll drive back over to Slucifer so we can begin the clean-out process. The first thing I'll do is make sure the entire wash plant is safely shut down. I'll switch off the conveyor system and screen deck, open up the clean-out section, and begin pulling out all of the gold concentrate that's been building up inside the sluice boxes throughout the day. It's always exciting reaching this point, because even though we can't see the gold yet, every bucket of concentrate we're pulling out has the potential to contain thousands of dollars worth of gold that was recovered from all of that pay dirt we've been processing. Once we've emptied out the cleanout, I'll get everything closed back up, fire the screen deck and conveyors back online, and let Slucifer get right back to work. By doing that, our 4 rock trucks, who've been patiently waiting at the top of the haul road, can immediately start unloading more pay dirt into the hopper feeder so we don't lose any more production time than necessary. The less time the wash plant sits idle, the more material we'll be able to process before the end of the day. With the concentrate safely loaded onto our utility trailer, we'll head over to the gold cleaning room, where we'll unload everything and fire the system back up so it can begin separating the concentrate into our gold jars. This is always one of my favorite parts of the entire mining process because it's where all of the hard work from the excavator, rock trucks, conveyors, and wash plant finally starts turning into actual gold. Once the concentrate is processing, we'll head straight back over to the mine and park the Can-Am Outlander beside Slucifer, so it's ready for the next clean out later today. By the time we return, our wash plant should already have another steady stream of paid dirt running through it thanks to the 4 rock trucks continuously feeding the hopper. I'll quickly check the clean out one more time, pull out any additional buckets of concentrate that have already accumulated since restarting the plant, and then we'll leave everything running so we can completely fill the sluice boxes once again before we call it a day. Hopefully, by the end of today's episode, we'll have another successful clean out behind us, a fresh batch of gold ready for processing, and an even better start to year 2 than I could have hoped for. Well, we've now worked our way onto the final strip of paved dirt along the south face of the Hillside Cut. At first glance, it didn't look like this section was going to cause us any problems, but as I started working my way farther into it, I quickly ran into a bit of an unexpected issue. Right beside where we're excavating is a massive pile of overburden that we pushed up many months ago when we first opened up the Hillside Cut. Back then, we needed somewhere to store all of that waste material while we stripped the cut, but now that we're mining right alongside it, it's become a bit of an obstacle. The excavator is sitting so close to that pile that every time I swing around to load one of our Volvo A60H rock trucks, the counterweight on the back of the excavator is actually rubbing against the overburden. I didn't even notice it at first until I felt the machine starting to push against the pile while I was turning. Another couple swings, and I probably would have started shoving the excavator sideways toward the edge of the cut, which definitely isn't something I want happening with a machine this size. Fortunately, I caught it before anything serious happened. To solve the problem, I'm going to spend a few minutes moving some of this overburden farther back out of the way. I don't think it'll take very long. Just a handful of bucket loads should be enough to lower the pile and give the excavator plenty of room to swing freely again. I'd much rather spend a little extra time fixing the problem now than risk damaging the excavator or constantly fighting with limited working space for the rest of this section. While I'm taking care of that, I have a feeling Slucifer is getting very close to being full once again. We've been running a steady stream of pay dirt through the wash plant ever since our first clean out earlier today. And judging by how much material we processed, I don't think it'll be long before it's time for our second gold clean out of year 2. Once the sluice boxes are full again, we'll temporarily shut the wash plant down, pull all of the fresh gold concentrate out of the clean out, and haul everything back over to the mining camp. This time, instead of using our original gold cleaning room, I'm going to fire up our second gold cleaning room, so we can have both cleaning rooms processing concentrate at the same time. That should help us keep up with the amount of material Slucifer is producing and speed up our entire gold recovery process. By the time we get the second cleaning room running, our first one should already have produced a nice collection of gold jars. I'll gather all of those up, haul them over to one of our gold smelters, and get another batch of gold bars started. It's always satisfying reaching this stage because this is where all of the hard work we've put into excavating, hauling, and processing paved dirt finally starts turning into finished gold bars that we can eventually sell to continue expanding this mining company. Once all of that's taken care of, we'll head straight back over to the Hillside Cut, climb back into our Volvo EC950, and continue working our way through the last remaining section of paved dirt along the south face. We're getting closer and closer to completely mining out this side of the pit, and every bucket we load brings us one step closer to wrapping up operations here and moving on to the next major chapter of this series. Well, I'd say that's a fantastic way to kick off year 2 here in the Yukon. Even though we didn't quite make it to a third gold cleanout before the end of today's episode, we still accomplished an incredible amount of work after returning from the long winter break. We got the entire mining camp set back up, serviced every major piece of equipment, cleaned down the whole operation, brought Slucifer back online, and officially fired up our entire mining fleet for another season. On top of that, we managed to complete 2 gold cleanouts, get both of our gold cleaning rooms back up and running, and even start producing our first gold bars of year 2. I'd say that's a pretty successful first day back at the mine. Out here in the Hillside Cut, we've also made some excellent progress. At this point, we got almost the entire south face mined out, and it's amazing to see just how much this cut has changed since we first opened it up back in Season 1. Every episode, we're getting closer to completely exhausting this deposit, and there really isn't much pay dirt left compared to where we started. In the next episode, we'll finish mining the last remaining section along the south face before shifting our attention to the final pockets of pay dirt that are still scattered around the Hillside Cut. Once those sections are gone, we'll officially be entering the final stages of mining this entire cut, and it'll be exciting to see just how much gold we can recover before it's finally time to shut this operation down for good. Of course, that also means it's time to start looking ahead. Before too much longer, we're going to begin searching for new ground to purchase so we can open up an even larger mining operation. The Hillside Cut has served us incredibly well, but if we want to continue growing this mining company, bringing in even bigger equipment, and processing even more paved dirt every single day, we're going to need a much larger mine to make that happen. Year 2 is only just getting started, and we've got some really exciting upgrades and expansion plans coming over the next several episodes. I can't wait to see where this mining company goes from here. As always, if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and let me know down in the comments what kind of upgrade you'd like to see for our next gold mine. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Welcome back, everyone, to episode 23 of our Gold Mining from Scratch series here on the massive Yukon Valley 16X map. Today we're back in the Hillside Cut as we continue our push to get this entire cut mined out, so we can start prospecting for new ground to mine. In the last episode, we officially kicked off Season 2 after taking a long winter break from the Yukon. We packed up our Ford F-350 and camper trailer, made the long trip back north, and returned to our Hillside Cut to begin another busy mining season. Once we got back to the mine, we spent the day getting everything up and running after sitting idle over the winter. We fired up our Volvo EC9 50 excavator, got our fleet of 4 Volvo A60H rock trucks back to work hauling pay dirt, and made sure our Slucifer wash plant, hopper feeder, and conveyor system were all ready for another season of gold mining. We also got our Cat D7 dozer back on the job, cleaning up around the cut, while our Can-Am Outlander and mobile pressure washing trailer helped get all of our equipment cleaned up and looking good again after the off-season. Now that the mine is fully operational once again, today we'll be getting right back to work as we continue hauling thousands of tons of pay dirt and feeding the wash plant as we work toward another massive gold cleanup here in Season 2. So, with that said, let's fire up the equipment and get back to work. To kick things off today, we're going to be picking things right up where we left off in the last episode by climbing back into our Volvo EC9 50 excavator and continuing to mine what's left of the Hillside Cut. After getting the entire operation back up and running at the start of Season 2, today we can finally get back to doing what this mine was built for, moving as much paid dirt as possible. Everything is now operating exactly as it should. Slucifer is fired up and washing pay dirt. Our hopper feeder and radial stacker conveyor are keeping a constant flow of material moving into the wash plant. And our fleet of 4 Volvo A60H rock trucks have all been fueled, serviced, and are ready for another full day of hauling. After spending the last episode getting the operation prepared for another mining season, today we can finally settle into a full day of production and start filling the stockpiles with even more gold-rich concentrate. Season 2 has already gotten off to an incredible start, and when you compare where we are today to where we started back in Season 1, the difference is honestly unbelievable. What began as a small mining operation with much smaller equipment has grown into a massive industrial-scale operation. Every major piece of equipment on this site has been upgraded over the past year, from our excavators and haul trucks all the way through to our wash plant. Those upgrades have completely transformed the way we mine, allowing us to move far more material every single day while processing more pay dirt than we ever thought possible when this journey first began. Those improvements have already paid for themselves many times over, helping us recover millions of dollars worth of gold and continually reinvest that money into making the operation even bigger and more efficient. The Hillside Cut has easily become the most successful project we've taken on since arriving here in the Yukon Valley. Looking back at the old Lone Wolf Creek Cut where this entire series began, it's hard to believe just how much this operation has evolved. That original cut was only a fraction of the size of what we built here, and every season we've continued expanding, upgrading, and improving until we've created the mining operation you see today. Now, though, we're reaching a major turning point. Over the past year, we've mined out almost the entire Hillside Cut. We started by removing the large sections through the center while leaving ourselves a network of haul roads, so the Volvo A60HS could safely circulate around the pit. Once those central areas were finished, we turned our attention to mining away those very same roads that carried thousands upon thousands of tons of pay dirt to the wash plant over the past year. Those roads have served us well, but now they're almost completely gone, and that's a pretty incredible milestone to think about. At this point, the entire north side of the Hillside Cut has been mined away, leaving us with only two relatively small sections of exposed pay dirt still waiting to be excavated. Compared to what this pit looked like just a few months ago, there's not much left, and it's becoming more obvious every episode that our time here is slowly coming to an end. Before long, we'll be packing up every machine on this site and setting out in search of a brand new location to build the next chapter of our gold mining operation. Before we can start thinking about that next mine, though, we have one final job to finish here. Last year, we spent countless hours stripping away the overburden with our Cat D7 dozer, exposing huge reserves of paid dirt underneath. Now it's finally time to cash in on all of that work by mining every last bit of the material we've uncovered and making sure we leave absolutely no gold behind before we move on. The last episode was the perfect start to Season 2. We got every machine back in a working order, restarted gold production, and before long our wash plant was once again producing a steady stream of gold-rich concentrate. That concentrate has already been hauled over to our mining camp across the road, where our gold cleaning room has been hard at work separating the gold and filling jar after jar with recovered gold. Those jars are now making their way over to the gold smelters, where we've already begun pouring some of our very first gold bars of Season 2. One thing I've been thinking about lately is holding onto every ounce of gold we recover this season instead of selling it right away. Right now, we've got over $13 million sitting in the bank from everything we accomplished during year one, so we're in a comfortable position financially. If we continue stockpiling every gold bar we produce until the Hillside Cut is completely mined out, we could finish this project with one massive final cleanup and one enormous payday to celebrate everything we've accomplished here over the past year. That money will become the foundation for our next mining operation. And after everything we've learned while building the Hillside Cut, I've got some really exciting ideas that I think are going to make our next mine even bigger, more efficient, and more impressive than anything we've built so far. But before we can start looking ahead, we've still got work to do. The remaining pay dirt is split between two final sections, one alongside the haul ramp feeding our hopper system and another near the entrance to the Hillside Cut. They're much smaller than the massive areas we've already mined, but there's still plenty of pay dirt left to move and, hopefully, plenty of gold still waiting to be recovered. So today our goal is simple. Keep the trucks moving, keep Slucifer fed with pay dirt, and take another big step toward completely mining out the Hillside Cut once and for all. Let's get to work. If you're enjoying the Yukon Valley 16X gold mining series so far, make sure to like, drop a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming up next. Well, at this point, we've already completed our first clean out of the day, and it didn't take long at all. Since Lucifer still had quite a bit of concentrate sitting in the sluice boxes from the end of the last episode, it only took a short time after we started mining this morning before they were completely full once again. We shut the wash plant down, cleaned out all of the concentrate, and hauled everything over to our gold cleaning room so they could continue separating out all of that fine gold. While we were over at the mining camp, we also collected all of the gold jars our cleaning rooms have been producing and loaded them into our smelters. One of the biggest milestones today was finally getting our second gold smelter fired back up for the very first time in Season 2. That means the entire gold recovery side of our operation is now running at full capacity once again. Both of our gold cleaning rooms are processing concentrate around the clock, and now both smelters are back online, turning those gold jars into finished gold bars. After spending the last episode getting everything ready for another mining season, it's great to finally see every part of the operation working together exactly the way it was designed to. Back here at the Hillside Cut, we've also reached another major milestone. We've officially finished mining away the last of the old haul roads that our Volvo A60HS have been driving on for months. Those roads were absolutely essential while we worked our way through the middle of the pit, but now they've completely disappeared beneath the excavator. It's pretty amazing to think that we're literally mining away the very roads that helped build this operation over the past year. With those haul roads now gone, we're officially down to the final 2 sections of pay dirt left in the entire Hillside Cut. The first section is the area we're currently working alongside the access ramp that feeds our hopper system, while the second and final section begins at the bottom of that ramp and stretches all the way toward the entrance of the pit. Once those 2 areas are finished, that'll be it. The Hillside Cut will finally be completely mined out. These last sections are probably going to be the most challenging we've tackled so far. As we work closer to the access ramp and into the remaining corners of the pit, we're going to lose a lot of the open space we've had throughout most of this project. That means tighter working conditions, more careful positioning of the rock trucks, and a few places where the Volvo EC950 is going to have to reach almost to the limit of its digging range just to load the trucks. I'll continue making adjustments to our auto drive routes as we go to keep the trucks positioned as close to the excavator as possible, but there will almost certainly be a few awkward spots where we'll just have to work with what we've got. This really is the beginning of the final push. After spending so much time building and expanding the Hillside Cut, it's hard to believe we're now talking about the last few sections of pay dirt. Our goal for today is to completely finish this first section, leaving just one final area to mine before we can officially close the book on the Hillside Cut and begin preparing for the next chapter of our mining operation here in the Yukon. So let's get back to work and see just how much ground we can cover before the end of the day. Well, everything seems to be running incredibly smoothly once again today. The entire operation has really settled into a nice rhythm now that we're back into the swing of Season 2. Sluicifer has already gone through its second clean out of the day after the sluice box is filled up for the second time. The rock trucks have been keeping a constant flow of pay dirt moving to the wash plant, and the Volvo EC950 hasn't stopped digging since we started this morning. It's always satisfying when every piece of equipment is doing exactly what it's supposed to, because it allows us to spend less time troubleshooting and more time simply moving as much pay dirt as possible. We've also made some really good progress through the first of our 2 remaining sections here at the Hillside Cut. Every bucket of material we load into these Volvo A60HS is bringing us one step closer to finally wrapping up a project that's taken us well over a year to build. When you look around the pit now, it's honestly hard to believe just how much of it has already disappeared. Areas that were once full of haul roads, stockpiles, and exposed pay dirt have now been completely mined away, and with every passing hour the pit gets a little bit smaller. Because of that, we're starting to reach the point where the layout of the mine has to change. The haul roads and traffic patterns that worked perfectly when the pit was much larger don't really make sense anymore. Right now, we've still got 2 separate ramps leading into the cut, one dedicated to entering and another for exiting, but the entrance ramp is actually sitting right on the edge of the section we're currently mining. Before long, that entire ramp is going to disappear beneath the excavator, so it's time to start reworking how the trucks move through the pit. My plan is to widen our current exit ramp so it can safely handle two-way traffic, and then I'll update all of our auto drive routes so every one of our Volvo A60HS uses that single ramp to both enter and leave the cut. Not only will that free up the old entrance ramp so we can begin mining it away, but it should also put the trucks in a much better position beside the excavator, making loading quicker and a little more efficient as we work through these tighter areas. I have a feeling this is only the beginning of the adjustments we're going to have to make over the next few episodes. As the Hillside Cut continues shrinking, we're going to lose more and more of the open space we've been working with all year. Every section we finish is going to force us to rethink our haul roads, reposition equipment, and adapt the operation to fit a pit that's getting smaller every single day. It's a completely different challenge compared to the beginning of this project, when we had unlimited room to work with. The second and final section of pay dirt is probably going to be even more challenging. Once we move over there, we'll be mining around the large ramp that our rock trucks use to haul pay dirt up into the hopper feeder system, which means space is going to become even more limited. It'll take a lot of careful planning to keep the trucks moving efficiently without getting in each other's way. But that's all part of the challenge when you're trying to squeeze every last ounce of gold out of a mine that's nearly exhausted. At this point, we're no longer building the Hillside Cut, we're carefully dismantling it, one bucket at a time. Every load of pay dirt we haul out of here brings us closer to the day when this pit is finally empty. The equipment gets loaded up for the last time, and we begin searching for the next location that will become home to our future gold mining operation. We've still got plenty of gold left to recover before that happens, though. So let's keep the trucks moving and see just how much more progress we can make today. Well, those changes ended up working out really well. We managed to get our exit ramp widened and updated all of our auto drive routes. So now all 4 of our Volvo A60H rock trucks are using a single ramp on the west side of the Hillside Cut to both enter and exit the pit. It's a pretty significant change compared to how we've been operating over the past year. But at this stage of the mine, it just makes a lot more sense. As the Hillside Cut continues getting smaller, the old traffic pattern simply wasn't going to work anymore. The original entrance ramp was sitting right on the edge of the section we're currently mining, and before long, we would have been digging that entire area away anyway. On top of that, the trucks would have had to make an extremely tight turn just to line up beside the excavator, which would have slowed the whole operation down. By bringing them in from the west side instead, they now have a much smoother approach, making it much easier to position themselves next to the Volvo EC950 for loading. Sometimes it's the little changes like this that make a huge difference over the course of a long day of mining. With those adjustments behind us, we've been able to settle right back into production, and we've made some really solid progress through this first of the final 2 sections of pay dirt. Every bucket we load into these rock trucks is another step toward completely mining out the Hillside Cut, and it's honestly amazing to think that we're now working in areas that used to be permanent haul roads only a few months ago. While we've been busy mining, Slucifer has been working just as hard. It looks like the wash plant is completely full once again, meaning we're already ready for our 3rd clean out of the day. That's exactly what you want to see, because every clean out means more concentrate making its way over to our gold recovery facility and ultimately more gold bars being added to our growing stockpile. So we'll head over to the wash plant, temporarily shut everything down, clean out the sluice boxes, and haul all of that fresh gold concentrate over to our gold cleaning rooms. While we're there, we'll also collect every gold jar they produced and feed them into both of our smelters so they can continue turning that recovered gold into finished gold bars. Every clean out from this point forward is becoming more meaningful because we're now processing some of the very last gold that will ever come out of the Hillside Cut. Rather than selling it immediately, we're continuing to stockpile every single gold bar we produce so that once this mine is finally exhausted, we can celebrate everything we've accomplished here with one massive final payday before moving on to our next mining operation. So let's get this 3rd clean out finished up, fire Slucifer back up, and keep pushing toward the finish line here at the Hillside Cut. We had another incredibly productive day here at the Hillside Cut. We managed to complete 4 cleanouts on Slucifer, kept all 4 of our Volvo A60H rock trucks hauling pay dirt all day long, and made some huge progress mining through the first of the final 2 sections of pay dirt left in this entire pit. By the end of today, this section is almost completely mined out, and it's honestly hard to believe how little is left of the Hillside Cut. What was once one of the biggest projects we've ever taken on has now been reduced to just one final section of pay dirt. After spending more than a year building, expanding, and mining this operation, we're finally entering the last chapter of the Hillside Cut. In the next episode, we'll begin focusing all of our attention on that final section as we continue digging out the last remaining pay dirt here at the mine. Every bucket we load into our Volvo A60HS, and every cleanout we do on Slucifer will bring us one step closer to officially shutting down the Hillside Cut for good. Once every last bit of pay dirt has been processed, it'll finally be time for one massive final gold cleanup. We'll cash in all of the gold we've been stockpiling throughout Season 2, and then we'll begin the exciting process of searching for a brand new location to build the next chapter of our gold mining operation here in the Yukon Valley. I have some really big plans for our next mine, and everything we've learned while building and operating the Hillside Cut is going to help us create something even bigger and better. But before we can start that next adventure, we've got one final job to finish here, and I can't wait to see just how much gold is still waiting for us in that last section of pay dirt. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and let me know down in the comments how much gold you think we'll recover from the final days of the Hillside Cut before we move on to our next mine. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Welcome back, everyone, to episode 24 of our Gold Mining from Scratch series here on the Yukon Valley 16X map. In today's episode, we're back in the Hillside Cut as we continue mining every last bucket of paid dirt from the ground we have stripped before we start looking for a new piece of land to open up our next gold mine. If you missed the last episode, we officially began the final push to completely mine out our $5 million mega gold mine. After getting our entire mining operation back up and running for Season 2, we spent the day working through the first of the final 2 remaining sections of pay dirt left inside the Hillside Cut. With our Volvo EC950 excavator loading our fleet of 4 Volvo A60H rock trucks, we kept our hopper feeder, conveyor system, and Slucifer wash plant running at full capacity throughout the day. On top of hauling thousands of tons of pay dirt, we also completed 4 wash plant cleanouts, processed even more gold concentrate in the gold bars, and made several adjustments to our haul roads and auto drive routes as the Hillside Cut continued to shrink. By the end of the episode, we had almost completely mined out the first of the 2 remaining sections of pay dirt, leaving us with just one final section standing between us and completely exhausting this entire gold mine. We're now closer than ever to shutting down the Hillside Cut for good. But before we can do that, we've still got plenty of pay dirt to remove and hopefully one final massive gold cleanup still waiting for us before we begin searching for the location of our next mega gold mine here in the Yukon Valley. To kick things off today, we'll be hopping right back into our massive Volvo EC950 excavator as we continue the final push to completely mine out our $5 million mega gold mine here in the Yukon Valley. Over the past couple of episodes, we've made some incredible progress around the Hillside Cut. After getting our entire mining operation back up and running for Season 2, we've been steadily working our way through the last remaining sections of pay dirt that we stripped and prepared during last year's mining season. With every truckload we haul out of this pit, we're getting one step closer to exhausting the Hillside Cut and officially shutting down the first gold mine we've ever owned. It's hard to believe how much material we've already moved out of this pit, but we're finally starting to see the finish line. Our entire mining operation is back up and running once again this morning. Slucifer is online and ready for another full day of processing pay dirt, while our hopper feeder and radial stacker conveyor continue working together to keep a steady flow of material moving into the wash plant. Out in the pit, our fleet of 4 Volvo A60H rock trucks are all back on auto drive, continuously cycling between the excavator and the hopper feeder. They'll pull up next to our Volvo EC950 to be loaded with pay dirt before making the climb up our haul ramp and dumping their loads directly into the hopper feeder. From there, the conveyor system carries everything over to Slucifer, where all of the gold-bearing material is washed down, leaving us with more buckets of gold concentrate that we'll eventually process into gold bars during our final cleanup. I've advanced time a little bit since the last episode, so we're now into the middle of the first month of year 2. It's still early in the morning, which means we've got an entire day ahead of us to keep this operation moving. Coming into today's episode, I honestly thought there was a good chance we'd completely finish mining the Hillside Cut before the day was over. But after taking another look at how much paid dirt is still sitting in front of us, I think we've probably still got another couple days of mining left before this pit is finally exhausted. That's still incredibly exciting, though, because we're now working on the very last section of ground we'll ever mine in this cut. Right now, we're putting the finishing touches on the first of the final 2 remaining sections. Our Volvo EC950 is currently working its way along the edge of the haul ramp that our Volvo A60H rock trucks are using to reach the hopper feeder. Because of that, I'm going to have to be pretty careful with how I excavate today. The last thing I want to do is get a little too aggressive with the excavator and accidentally cut away part of the haul ramp that's keeping our entire mining operation running. As long as we can preserve that access road for a little while longer, the trucks should be able to continue hauling paid dirt without any interruptions. My plan for today is to continue working our way back toward the public road that separates our mining camp from the Hillside Cut. Nearly all of the pay dirt we have left to mine is sitting directly behind the excavator, so I'm going to focus on cutting a nice, straight line all the way toward the west side of the mine. As we slowly work our way back, we'll also be shifting the excavator farther west until we eventually reach the public road. If everything goes according to plan, by the time we finish today's work, we should be left with one final, fairly square section of paid dirt sitting on the south side of the mine. Once we reach that point, we'll officially be down to the last section of the Hillside Cut, and from there it'll just be a matter of steadily working through the remaining material until the entire mine is exhausted. We're also getting to the point where we're going to have to start re-engineering the traffic flow around the mine. Right now, our rock trucks are still spending quite a bit of time driving across ground that we haven't mined yet before they reach the haul ramp and make their way down to the excavator. As we continue removing more and more pay dirt, that haul road is eventually going to disappear. So over the next couple of episodes, we'll need to redesign our auto drive routes and relocate some of the truck traffic to keep everything running efficiently. My goal is to remove as much truck traffic as possible from the remaining pay dirt so we can finish mining the last section without constantly working around our haul roads. We're getting incredibly close now. After more than a full season of mining here at the Hillside Cut, there's only one final section standing between us and our last gold cleanup. We've still got plenty of work ahead of us today. So let's fire up the Volvo EC950, keep these 4 Volvo A60H rock trucks loaded, and see just how much closer we can get to completely mining out our very first mega gold mine. If you're enjoying the Yukon Valley 16X gold mining series so far, make sure to like, drop a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming up next. Well, we've already made some fantastic progress today. We've managed to pull a tremendous amount of paid dirt out of the Hillside Cut. and we've officially finished mining out the first of the final 2 remaining sections. That means everything we're excavating from this point forward is coming from the very last section of pay dirt left inside this entire $5 million mega gold mine. It's pretty exciting to finally reach this stage because with every truckload we haul away, we're getting closer and closer to completely exhausting the Hillside Cut and moving on to our next mining project. As planned, I've also been working my way farther to the west, slowly cutting a nice straight line through the remaining pay dirt. Squaring off this final section is going to make things much easier over the next couple of episodes because it'll allow us to work through the rest of the material in a much more organized way without constantly changing the truck routes or repositioning the excavator. Everything has been running really smoothly so far, and our fleet of 4 Volvo A60H rock trucks have been doing an excellent job keeping Slucifer supplied with pay dirt. It also looks like we've already managed to fill the sluice boxes on Slucifer for the first time today. So now it's time for another gold cleanup. I'll pause the mining operation for just a few minutes, shut the wash plant down, and open up the cleanup system so we can pull out every bucket of gold concentrate that's been produced so far today. We've already got a line of fully loaded rock trucks waiting to dump into the hopper feeder, so I don't want to keep the wash plant offline for very long. As soon as we've emptied the concentrate from the sluice boxes, we'll fire Slucifer right back up, so it can immediately start processing all of that pay dirt that's already waiting for us. While the wash plant gets back to work, we'll head over to our mining camp and unload all of today's gold concentrate into one of our 2 gold cleaning rooms. That's where we'll continue processing the concentrate into gold jars before feeding those jars into our smelters to melt everything down into gold bars. Even though we could sell the gold as we produce it, I'm still planning to stockpile every single gold bar from the remainder of the Hillside Cut. That way, once this mine is finally exhausted, we'll be able to celebrate the end of this operation with one last massive gold cleanup, and hopefully our biggest payday of the entire series. I think that'll be a really satisfying way to close out the Hillside Cut before we begin searching for the location of our next mega gold mine here in the Yukon Valley. Once we've unloaded today's concentrate and loaded any finished gold jars into the smelters, we'll make our way right back over to Slucifer. By the time we get there, the wash plant should have already produced another small batch of concentrate while we were away, so we'll shut it down one more time, empty the sluice boxes again, and reset them back to 0%. That'll give us another full mining run before the next cleanup is needed and allow us to keep recovering as much gold as possible while we continue chewing through the final section of pay dirt. After that, it'll be time to climb back into the Volvo EC950, keep these 4 Volvo A60H rock trucks loaded, and continue the final push toward completely mining out the Hillside Cut. While everything seems to be going great here at the Hillside Cut, we've continued working our way west throughout the day, cutting a nice straight line through the edge of the remaining pay dirt as we slowly square off what will soon become the final section of this entire gold mine. Every truckload of pay dirt we remove is bringing us one step closer to completely exhausting the Hillside Cut. But as we've continued mining farther west, it's becoming clear that our current haul road layout isn't going to work much longer. We're now getting extremely close to the access ramp that our Volvo A60H rock trucks have been using to drive down into the excavated portion of the mine. The closer we get to that ramp, the tighter it's becoming to safely load these trucks. And before long, we'll actually need to excavate that entire ramp away as we continue mining west. Rather than waiting until the last minute and having to stop the entire mining operation, I think now is the perfect time to pause for a few minutes and start rerouting our trucks onto a new haul road before we begin mining through that existing ramp. The first thing I want to do is build a brand new dirt ramp over on the west side of the cut. This new ramp will allow our Volvo A60H rock trucks to enter and exit the excavated area directly from the public road, instead of using the access ramp we've been relying on up until now. Once we've got the new ramp built, we'll create some brand new auto drive routes that allow our rock trucks to drive down into the cut using this new entrance, pull alongside the Volvo EC950 to be loaded, and then climb back out onto the public road before making their way around to the hopper feeder. That way, when it comes time later today to excavate the original access ramp, we won't have to stop the mining operation because all of our truck traffic will already be using the new route. While we're making changes, I also want to improve the unloading side of the operation. Right now, after our rock trucks dump their loads of pay dirt in a hopper feeder, they drive off the end of the unloading ramp and straight across the last section of pay dirt that we still need to mine. That worked perfectly earlier in the season when we had plenty of room to work with. But now it's actually slowing us down because the trucks are constantly driving over ground that we'll soon be excavating. To fix that, I'm going to reshape the end of our unloading ramp and build a new section with a 90-degree turn. Instead of driving across the remaining pay dirt, our rock trucks will turn immediately after leaving the hopper feeder and head directly toward the mine entrance. This new route should keep every one of our haul trucks completely off the remaining pay dirt, giving our Volvo EC950 unrestricted access to the final section of the Hillside Cut, while also making our haul routes cleaner and much more efficient. Once both of the new ramps are finished, we'll spend a bit of time updating all of our auto drive routes, and then put the entire system through a few test runs. Hopefully everything works properly the first time, because if it does, we should have a much more efficient mining operation for these final days here at the Hillside Cut. After that, it'll be time to fire the Volvo EC950 back up, get our fleet of 4 Volvo A60H rock trucks moving once again, and continue the final push toward completely mining out our very first mega gold mine. Well, at this point, we've officially finished building all of our new haul ramps, and I've also got all of the new auto drive routes created and running for our fleet of 4 Volvo A60H rock trucks. So far, everything seems to be working exactly how I was hoping. The trucks are now entering and exiting the excavated portion of the Hillside Cut using the new west side access ramp. And with the new 90-degree turn added onto our unloading ramp, we've completely eliminated truck traffic from the remaining pay dirt that we still need to mine. It took a little bit of work to get everything re-engineered, but I think these changes are going to make the final days of mining here at the Hillside Cut much more efficient. Since getting the new haul road system up and running, we've also completed our second cleanup on Slucifer for today and hauled all of that fresh gold concentrate back over to our processing rooms. Our stockpile of gold continues to grow with every cleanup we complete, and it's honestly getting pretty exciting knowing that every ounce of gold we're producing right now is being saved for one final massive cleanup once this mine is officially exhausted. We've still got a fair bit of pay dirt left to process, so by the time we finally shut the Hillside Cut down for good, we should have a tremendous amount of gold bars ready to sell. Back out here in the pit, we're still slowly working our way west toward the public road. Now that the trucks are using the new access ramp, they're able to get much closer to the excavator, which has made loading them a lot easier than it was earlier in the episode. Even with the new haul roads in place, though, this last corner of pay dirt is still going to be one of the trickiest parts of the entire mine to excavate. It's a very tight area to work in, and there's not a lot of room for the rock trucks to maneuver while still staying clear of the excavator. As I continue pulling this corner back, I'll also be making small adjustments to our auto drive routes. Every few truckloads, I'll move the loading position a little closer to where I'm excavating so the trucks stay within easy reach of the Volvo EC950. That way I won't have to constantly swing the excavator over long distances just to load each truck, which should help keep the entire operation running as efficiently as possible. Hopefully by the end of today's episode, we'll have this entire corner completely cleaned up and mined out. If we can accomplish that, then when we come back in the next episode, all that's going to be left is the final section of pay dirt sitting behind us. After more than 2 full seasons of mining here at the Hillside Cut, we're finally closing in on the end. So let's keep these 4 Volvo A60H rock trucks loaded and see just how much more pay dirt we can remove before calling it a day. Well, our new haul road system seems to be working exactly the way I was hoping it would. The new ramps and auto-drive routes have really cleaned up the traffic flow around the Hillside Cut. And I think this is going to be the perfect setup for finishing the last of the pay dirt that's left in this mine. It's nice knowing we took the time to redesign everything now, because it should make these final days of mining much smoother and allow us to keep the operation running without constantly having to work around our haul roads. It also looks like we've already managed to fill the sluice boxes on Slucifer for the third time today, so it's time for yet another gold cleanup. Even after taking time earlier to re-engineer our entire haul road system, we're still processing massive amounts of pay dirt through the wash plant, which is exactly what we want to see. Every cleanup is producing more buckets of gold concentrate, and every one of those buckets is bringing us another step closer to one final massive gold cleanup once the Hillside Cut is officially exhausted. We'll shut Slucifer down for just a few minutes, empty out all of today's concentrate, deliver everything over to our gold cleaning rooms, and then get the wash plant fired right back up so it can continue processing pay dirt while we head back into the pit. Back down here at the excavator, we're definitely into one of the trickiest parts of the entire mine. This last corner of pay dirt has proven to be a lot tighter than I originally expected. There's not a lot of room to maneuver the Volvo EC950. And even with our new truck routes, there's only a small loading area for the Volvo A60H rock trucks to pull into. Because of that, I'm going to continue making small adjustments to our auto drive routes as I slowly work my way backward through the corner. Every time I remove another section of pay dirt, I'll pull the loading position a little closer to the excavator so I don't have to constantly reach farther and farther to load the trucks. My main goal before the end of today's episode is to get this entire corner cleaned up and squared off with the straight cut we've already created across the rest of the mine. Once that's finished, we'll move the excavator back over to where our original access ramp used to be and continue working our way along that straight edge toward the final section of pay dirt. We're getting incredibly close now, and with every truckload we haul out of here, the Hillside Cut is starting to look smaller and smaller. So let's get Slucifer cleaned out one more time, climb back into the Volvo EC950, and see just how much closer we can get to completely mining out our very first mega gold mine before the end of today's episode. We made some fantastic progress here at the Hillside Cut as we continued working through the final stages of our $5 million mega gold mine. One of our biggest accomplishments today was completely redesigning our haul road system. We built brand new access ramps, updated all of our auto drive routes, and successfully diverted our fleet of 4 Volvo A60H rock trucks onto the new haul roads. Thankfully, everything worked exactly as planned, and those changes should make the last few days of mining here at the Hillside Cut much smoother. After getting our new haul road system up and running, we climbed back into the Volvo EC950 excavator and managed to completely mine out that tight northwest corner of the pit. It was definitely one of the trickiest sections we've had to excavate so far, but now that it's gone, we've opened up the mine considerably, and we're left with one final section of pay dirt still waiting to be mined. Every truckload we hauled today brought us one step closer to completely exhausting this gold mine. And it's honestly starting to feel strange knowing that after everything we've accomplished here, we're almost at the end. On top of all the excavation work, Slucifer had another incredible day as well. We managed to complete 4 full cleanouts throughout today's episode, hauling even more gold concentrate back to our processing rooms and continuing to build up what is becoming a massive stockpile of gold. I'm really excited to see just how much gold we'll have by the time this mine is finally finished, because we're getting closer and closer to what should be our biggest cleanup and biggest payday of the entire series. When we come back in the next episode, all of our attention is going to shift to that final section of pay dirt. Our goal will be to keep the Volvo EC950 and all 4 Volvo A60H rock trucks running at full capacity as we work toward completely mining out the Hillside Cut once and for all. We're finally down to the last section of this entire mine, and with a little bit of luck, we should be getting very close to shutting down our first mega gold mine and preparing for one final massive gold cleanup. But that's going to do it for today's episode. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let me know down in the comments how much gold you think we'll end up recovering before the Hillside Cut is completely exhausted. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I truly appreciate every single one of you, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Welcome back to episode 25 of our Gold Mining from Scratch series here on the Yukon Valley 16X map. Today we're back mining at the Hillside Cut as we work towards getting every last bucket of paid dirt out of the ground before we cash in on the biggest payday yet in this series. In the last episode, we continued working our way through the final stages of mining our $5 million mega gold mine. And by the end of the episode, we had made some serious progress through the remaining paid dirt inside the Hillside Cut. Our Volvo EC950 excavator, fleet of 4 Volvo A60H rock trucks, Slucifer wash plant, hopper feeder, and conveyor system were all working together as we continued moving massive amounts of pay dirt through the processing operation. We also spent quite a bit of time redesigning our haul roads as the pit continues to shrink. We built new access ramps and updated our auto drive routes to keep our trucks moving efficiently as we work deeper into the final section of mine. Throughout the operation, we also completed 4 Slucifer cleanouts, hauling even more gold concentrate back to our processing rooms and continuing to build up what should be a massive stockpile of gold waiting for our final cleanup. By the end of the last episode, we had successfully mined out another major section of the Hillside Cut, leaving us with just one final section of paid dirt still waiting to be excavated. That means we're getting extremely close to the end of this massive mining operation. Once we finally clear this last section, we'll be one step closer to our biggest gold cleanup and payday of the entire series. So today, our main goal is simple. Finish mining the Hillside Cut, recover every last bit of pay dirt we can, and get this $5 million mega gold mine one step closer to its final cleanup. To kick things off today, we're heading straight over to the final section of the Hillside Cut. We've spent the last several episodes working our way through this massive mine, moving an unbelievable amount of paid dirt and constantly reshaping the pit as we've dug deeper and deeper into the hillside. Now, after all of that work, We're finally down to this last small section of pay dirt sitting here in the southern corner of the cut. This is officially the final ground that we need to excavate before we can finally say that the Hillside Cut is completely mined out. So to get this final push underway, I'll be hopping right back into our Volvo EC950 excavator, and we'll start loading paid dirt into our fleet of 4 Volvo A60H rock trucks. All 4 of these trucks are already fired up and ready to go, and I've got them configured with auto drive, so we can keep this entire haul cycle running as efficiently as possible. Once I start filling the trucks, they'll be able to drive directly into the excavation area, pull up alongside the EC950, get loaded with pay dirt, and then follow the auto drive route I've created to get themselves back out of the pit. From there, the trucks will make their way around to the backside of the massive loading ramp we've built here at the Hillside Cut. They'll climb the ramp, pull up to our hopper feeder, and unload their pay dirt directly into the system. Once they're empty, they'll turn around, make their way back down the ramp, and head straight back into the cut to get loaded again. With 4 A60HS continuously cycling between the excavator and the hopper feeder, we should be able to keep a pretty steady flow of pay dirt moving through the entire operation today. And once that pay dirt reaches the hopper feeder, our processing operation will take over. The hopper feeder will keep feeding material into the conveyor system. Our radial stacker will continue moving the processed material. And most importantly, our silicifer wash plant will be back online and ready to start recovering all of the gold hidden inside this final section of pay dirt. We've got the entire operation fired up and ready to go today. So really the only thing standing between us and the end of this mine is how quickly we can get this last section excavated. We've spent a tremendous amount of time on this Hillside Cut. Since returning here in year 2, we've completely transformed this area as we've stripped away layer after layer of material, built new haul roads, added ramps, redesigned our auto drive routes, and sent hundreds upon hundreds of truckloads of pay dirt through our wash plant. This is by far the largest cut we've ever opened up in this series, and seeing it finally start to disappear is pretty incredible. We're now at the point where we can actually see the end of the mine, and I want to make sure we finish this operation properly by recovering as much gold as possible from every last bit of pay dirt. And while we're working on that final section, our gold production has been quietly building in the background. Since the beginning of year 2, I've been stockpiling essentially all of the gold we've produced instead of selling it off as we go. Our 2 gold cleaning rooms have continued turning all of the concentrate we're producing into gold jars, and we've been moving those jars over to our 2 gold smelters where they're being turned into solid gold bars. Both of those smelters are absolutely packed right now, with the visible storage areas completely filled with gold bars, while even more bars continue stacking up inside their storage that we can't actually see. Once we finally get this Hillside Cut completely mined out, that's when we'll start pulling all of that gold out of the smelters and putting together what should be our biggest gold cleanup and payday yet. So there's actually a pretty big payoff waiting for us on the other side of this final section of pay dirt. We've put a ridiculous amount of work into getting this mine to this point, so I'm setting the goal today of getting this entire Hillside Cut completely mined out. That means this is going to be a big day of mining, and we're going to keep these trucks moving and this wash plant running until we've cleared this final section. So grab a snack, buckle up, and let's get to work as we make this final push through the Hillside Cut and see just how much gold we've managed to stockpile for what could be the biggest payday of the series. If you're enjoying the Yukon Valley 16X gold mining series so far, make sure to like, drop a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming up next. Well, things seem to be moving really smoothly to start things off today, and we've already managed to move a pretty impressive amount of paid dirt through the operation. In fact, it looks like we've already completely filled the sluice boxes inside Slucifer with gold concentrate. Our rock trucks are all sitting up on the unloading ramp waiting to dump their loads. But unfortunately, Slucifer has reached its limit and can't process any more paid dirt until we clean it out. So we'll take a quick pause from mining and run over to the wash plant to shut everything down and pull all of that gold concentrate out. Once we've got the concentrate removed, I'll immediately fire Slucifer back up so our rock trucks can continue unloading their full loads of pay dirt while we take care of processing everything we've already recovered. I'll load all of this concentrate up with the Can-Am Outlander 1000 and haul it back over to the mining camp where we can get it delivered into our gold cleaning rooms. While we're over at the mining camp, I'll also take a quick look at the 2 gold cleaning rooms and collect any gold jars they've produced since our last visit. We'll get those jars moved over to our 2 gold smelters so they can continue turning all of that concentrate into solid gold bars. We're getting closer and closer to the point where we're going to start pulling all of those bars out. So it's pretty exciting seeing just how much gold we've managed to build up during this final push. Once we've got everything delivered, we'll head back over to Slucifer. I'll shut the wash plant down one more time when we arrive and collect any additional concentrate it managed to produce while we were gone. That will allow me to completely empty the sluice boxes again before firing Slucifer back up, giving us another full run of mining before we need to stop and clean the plant out again. With the amount of pay dirt we still have left, I want to keep these cleanouts as efficient as possible so we can spend as much of today as possible actually excavating this final section. You may have also noticed that we've made another pretty big addition to our mining fleet today. Earlier in the episode, one purchased our 5th Volvo, a 60H rock truck, and that truck has now made its way over to the Hillside Cut and is configured with the exact same auto drive routes as our other 4 trucks. So we've officially gone from a fleet of 4 A60HS to 5 trucks hauling pay dirt for our Volvo EC950. The reason I decided to add that 5th truck is because our new haul road system has made the truck cycle a little longer. Since the trucks now have to travel out to the public road before they can re-enter the Hillside Cut, they're spending a little more time on the road between loads. With 5 trucks cycling instead of 4, we should be able to keep the EC950 busy more consistently and reduce the amount of time we're sitting around waiting for an empty truck to pull up. And I think this is going to be a really good investment beyond just finishing the Hillside Cut. Once we finally shut this mine down and move on to our next gold mine, we're going to be expanding our operation even further, so having a 5th A60H already in the fleet should give us some extra hauling capacity from the very beginning of our next cut. But for now, the only thing that matters is getting this final section of the Hillside Cut mined out. We've got 5 rock trucks ready to haul, Slucifer is back online, and there's still plenty of pay dirt waiting for us. So let's get back into the EC950 and keep digging until we finally clear the last section of this mine. Well, we've already finished up our second clean out of Slucifer today, and everything seems to be running incredibly smoothly. We're moving a serious amount of paid dirt through the operation, and adding that fifth Volvo A60H to the fleet has definitely helped keep the Volvo EC950 busy. With 5 trucks cycling between the excavator and the hopper feeder, we're spending much less time waiting for an empty truck to arrive, which is exactly what we needed as we make this final push. I've also decided to split this final section of the Hillside Cut into 2 separate areas. We're currently working on the first of those areas, and we're getting very close to having it completely mined out. Once we clear this section, we'll move the excavator over to the final area, and I think that's where we're going to be able to make some really good progress. From that position, pretty much all of the remaining pay dirt should be within reach of the EC950. So we should be able to work our way through the final section without having to constantly reposition the excavator. Before we make that move, I'll spend a few minutes reworking our auto drive routes so the 5 rock trucks can get as close as possible to wherever I position the excavator. With this being the final section of the mine, I want to make sure our truck routes are as efficient as possible. The closer we can get the trucks to the EC950, the less time I'll spend swinging the excavator, and the more time we'll have actual buckets moving into the trucks. Once we get down into that final area, I'm also going to make one more important trip over to the mining camp. I'll fire up our Cat D7 dozer and bring it down into the Hillside Cut with us. Over the past several episodes, we've been focused on getting the major sections of paid dirt excavated, but there's still some smaller piles and loose pieces of paid dirt scattered around the cut that we've either left behind or couldn't easily reach with the excavator. Rather than leaving any of that behind when we finally shut this mine down, I want to use the D7 to clean everything up and push those smaller piles toward our final mining area. That way, once the EC950 gets into position, we can work through all of that material and make sure we're recovering every last bucket of pay dirt that we've exposed here at the Hillside Cut. We're getting extremely close now. We've already cleared the majority of this final section. We've got 5 A60HS keeping the excavator supplied, and Slucifer is processing everything we can throw at it. Now we just need to keep pushing forward, clean up the remaining ground, and make sure we leave absolutely nothing behind before we finally shut down this mine for good. Well, we've now brought the Cat D7 dozer down into the Hillside Cut, and I've spent some time cleaning up all of the smaller piles and loose pieces of pay dirt that have been left behind from our mining operation over the past several episodes. There are quite a few little piles scattered around the cut that I didn't want to leave behind, so I've pushed all of that material over toward our final mining area where we can make sure it's loaded up and processed before we finally shut this mine down. At this point, I really want to leave nothing behind. We've spent an incredible amount of time opening up and mining this Hillside Cut, and this is going to be our final opportunity to recover any pay dirt we've exposed throughout the entire operation. By pushing all of these smaller piles together into one final area, we can bring the Volvo EC950 over and make sure every last bit of material gets loaded into our rock trucks and eventually makes its way through Silicifer. Even though some of these piles are relatively small, all of that pay dirt can still contain gold, so there's no reason to leave any of it sitting here when we're this close to the end. I've also finished setting up our new auto drive routes for this final section, and everything should now be lined up much better for our 5 Volvo A60H rock trucks. They'll be able to pull into the final mining area and position themselves as close as possible to the EC950, which should make this last stretch of excavation much more efficient. With 5 trucks continuously cycling and our new routes keeping them in a better position, we should be able to keep the excavator moving and continue feeding Silicifer with as much pay dirt as possible. And now, after everything we've done over the past several episodes, we're finally down to one final area of pay dirt here at the Hillside Cut. Once we get this last section excavated and clean up anything that's left behind, we'll officially be finished mining this massive cut. That's going to be a pretty big milestone for this series because we've moved an incredible amount of pay dirt through this operation and build up what should be a massive stockpile of gold waiting for us back at the mining camp. So let's get back into the Volvo EC950, fire it back up, and make this final push through the Hillside Cut. We're getting extremely close to the end now, and I want to see just how much of this final section we can clear before we officially call this mine finished. Well, we've finally made it to the home stretch here at the Hillside Cut. We're now excavating the very last stretch of pay dirt that remains in this mine. And after all of the work we've put into this cut over the past several episodes, it's pretty crazy to see just how close we're to finally having it completely mined out. And judging by the looks of things, Slucifer is already full for the fourth time today. We just finished up our third clean out a little while ago after bringing the Cat D7 down into the cut and cleaning up all of those smaller piles of pay dirt, and we've already managed to push enough material through the wash plant to completely fill the sluice boxes again. That's a really good sign that we're still moving a tremendous amount of pay dirt, even though we're down to the very last section of the mine. I have a feeling we're probably going to get another 1 or 2 Slucifer cleanouts before we finally get every last bit of this pay dirt excavated and washed. That means there's still quite a bit of gold concentrate left to recover from this final section. And every time we clean out those sluice boxes, we're adding even more gold to the massive stockpile we've been building throughout year 2. We've been deliberately holding on to all of this gold instead of selling it as we produced it. And that stockpile is getting bigger and bigger with every clean out. Once we finally finish mining the Hillside Cut, we'll be able to start pulling all of those gold bars out of our smelters and see just how much we've managed to accumulate throughout this entire operation. I have a feeling that final gold sale is going to give our bank account a pretty serious boost. But before we get anywhere near that final payday, we've still got one job left to finish. We got to get every last bucket of paid dirt out of this cut, get it through Slucifer, and make sure we leave absolutely nothing behind. So let's keep these 5 rock trucks moving, keep the EC950 digging, and push through this final stretch of the Hillside Cut. We're getting incredibly close to finally finishing this mine. Well, we have just completed our 5th Slucifer cleanout of the day, which means we've officially broken our own record. We've never managed to complete 5 full cleanouts of Slucifer in a single episode before, so that's a pretty big milestone on its own. And the crazy part is, we're still not finished yet. We're back to excavating, and we're now working on the final chunk of paid dirt remaining anywhere in the Hillside Cut. I'm not sure if we'll have enough material left to completely fill Slucifer for a 6th cleanout, but judging by how much paid dirt we still have sitting in front of us, I think we're going to get pretty close. Either way, we're going to keep pushing until every last bit of this material has been excavated and loaded into our rock trucks, so we can send it through the wash plant and recover whatever gold is hiding inside. It's honestly pretty incredible to think about how much work we've put into this Hillside Cut. When we first stripped away all of the overburden and exposed this entire area, it seemed like an absolutely massive undertaking. We knew there was going to be a tremendous amount of paid dirt to move, but actually seeing this entire cut disappear over the course of the series has been pretty amazing. We've moved countless truckloads of material, redesigned our haul roads multiple times, added more trucks to the fleet, and constantly adjusted our operation as the pit got smaller and smaller. And now we're finally down to this last little section of pay dirt. Once we get this final material through Slucifer, I'll start shutting down the mining operation for the last time. I'll move the Cat D7 dozer and our Volvo EC9 50 excavator back over to the mining camp, while Slucifer finishes processing whatever pay dirt is still left in the system. Once that final load has been washed and every last bit of gold concentrate has been recovered, we'll officially shut down the Hillside Cut. From there, we'll take all the concentrate we've recovered throughout this final push and deliver it to our 2 gold cleaning rooms, where they'll work through everything and turn that concentrate into gold jars overnight. Those jars will then make their way into our 2 gold smelters, where they'll be turned into the solid gold bars we've been stockpiling throughout this entire operation. And then comes the part I've been looking forward to for a long time. We'll finally get to see the rewards of all this hard work. Once everything has been processed, we'll return the following morning and start pulling those gold bars out of the smelters. I'm expecting a pretty ridiculous amount of gold by the time we're finished, and honestly, we may have so much that we'll need to make multiple trips into town just to sell it all. But before we can cash in on that massive payday, we've got one final stretch of pay dirt to mine. Let's keep pushing and finish the Hillside Cut once and for all. Well, guys, we've officially reached the end of the Hillside Cut, and I don't think we could have asked for a better way to finish this mining operation. After all of the paid dirt we moved through Lucifer over the past several episodes, we finally processed that last bit of concentrate, let our gold cleaning rooms and smelters finish doing their work overnight, and came back this morning to see just how much gold we had managed to produce from this massive cut. And as you guys probably saw, there was a lot of gold waiting for us. We ended up with so many gold bars that it actually took us 2 separate trips into town to get everything hauled over and sold. After making both trips and selling every last bar, we ended up bringing in roughly $11,500,000 from all of the gold we mined here at the Hillside Cut during year 2. That is by far the biggest payday we've ever had in this series. And it's pretty incredible to think that all of that money came from the ground we've spent so many episodes working through. We started with this massive, untouched cut, stripped away the overburden, built our haul roads, redesigned our auto drive routes, added more rock trucks, and moved an unbelievable amount of paid dirt through Lucifer. Now the entire Hillside Cut is completely mined out, and we've turned all of that hard work into an $11,500,000 payday, and we've also pushed our bank account up to nearly $24 million. This payday is going to set us up extremely well for what's coming next. We're going to have a lot more money available to invest into our next mining operation, and after seeing just how much gold we were able to recover from Hillside, I'm ready to take things to an entirely different level. So in the next episode, we're going to leave the Hillside Cut behind and start searching for our next piece of land. And this time, I don't want to open up another small mining operation. We're going to be looking for the perfect location to build what should be by far the biggest gold mine we've ever opened in this series. That's going to be a huge project, but after today's massive payday, I think we're finally in a position to make it happen. But that's going to do it for today's episode. If you guys enjoyed watching us finish the Hillside Cut and cash in on our biggest payday yet, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Thank you all so much for watching and supporting this series. And I'll see you all in the next episode as we begin searching for the next mega gold mine.